Hey, it's Keith, Two Guys How To. Just out fixing. I just rebuilt Kevin's carburetor on this 350X Honda ATC. It's an 86, and got it real good and hot. It actually got me real good and hot. Burned my calf here on that aftermarket exhaust. I don't know why they don't have a heat shield, but anyway, I'm going to show you how to change the oil in this thing. When I ride it, I can hear it tapping. I'm sure that nobody's ever adjusted the timing chain or the valves in here. These are 4-stroke. So whether yours is if it's a 2-stroke, it doesn't need any crankcase oil down in here. On the 4-strokes, it does. So and even if it was a 2-stroke, you would have the gas and oil mix, but on the gearbox down below, you would still have an engine oil that would go through your gears and make sure everything is running right, clean, and cool and smooth down there. So on this particular unit, it's a 4-stroke. It takes regular gas. There's motor oil in the bottom of the engine, and we want to drain it out of there and go something new with some 2050 weight, something good and strong right now while it's hot out. So there's a drain plug on the bottom. He's got this skid plate down here, and I don't know if you guys can see it. He's got this custom skid plate on this thing, and there's a hole right up underneath. And if I tip the bike over, I can show you where it is. And this one takes an 8mm Allen key here, and you can see there's a hole right there. I don't know if you guys can see. It's the only hole in the bottom of the skid pan, and that's where the oil is going to come out. It might burrow up onto it. We can put this drip tray here and catch it no matter what. So let's go ahead and crack this open with this 8mm Allen key, the hex key, and drain the oil out of it. That way he doesn't blow this thing up, because I know nobody's maintaining it, and I can hear it going when I'm riding it around. So let's go ahead and get down here and see what comes out real fast. Yours might be a 17 mil or 19 mil or 13 mil. They're all different. So I'm just going to find that hole, get that Allen key up in that check plug, or that drain plug there. And before you do that, I cracked it open. Before I officially drain it, let's make sure that the cap to add oil will come off. If not, when you drain it, you'll never be able to add oil again, and it's ruined. So they're going to ruin it if they don't do anything with it. And I'm actually going to check this real quick just to see if, I think I changed this once before for him when they first got it. He got this thing out of New York and brought it down here, down to Maryland. And let's just see. It's a little low. It's clear, but it's low. And it's sitting on a hill, so it's probably almost about right. That's why I parked it on the hill, just so I can make sure we get all the hot oil out of the bottom of the motor there. So let's go ahead and take this drain plug officially out and see how bad it leaks out of here. It's a little bit of a headache with the skid steer, or the skid plate, but it's all right. We'll get it out of there. Let's drop it, and then we'll check online, or if you got an owner's manual, it'll show you how much to fill it. This particular one has a dipstick, so it's great if we move it to a flat location later. We'll just fill it up to the full mark, and it's a done deal. You can just see it coming out right down there. It's nasty. I'm going to keep it at an angle for a little bit, let it drip all the way out, and then you can see where it's starting to drip down through that skid plate there. So let's just move this over a little bit. That's exactly why I parked on the hill, so I could grab it and it won't leak out everywhere. And then we'll move it to the flat area before we add oil to it. I'm going to let it sit here probably about maybe a half hour and just let everything get out of this motor, and then crack this oil top to let a little more air down into the crankcase down there. And I'm going to go fix something else real quick and come back to this, and then we'll top it off. I'll show you guys how to do it. That way, if you get one of these units, you can maintenance it without blowing it up, because if you don't change the oil, it will end up getting destroyed. All right, it's been about 15-20 minutes. All the oil's drained out. I don't see anything dripping off the skid plate or in the pan anymore. And this is the drain plug here. A lot of them have these aluminum gaskets around them. You can change them. This one seems pretty fixed in there. 9 times out of 10, if they don't leak, I don't mess with them. If they leak, then you got to change them. But this one's kind of already crushed in the way it should be up into that oil pan there in the bottom of the motor. So I'm going to leave it alone. I'm just going to wipe it down, get this back in, and then we can start adding some oil. And I'm going to wipe up underneath there just a little bit where that oil plug goes, make sure there's no debris or dirt up in there. A little bit of a headache, seeing as I can't really see it. I'm just kind of going by feel. But just be patient, you'll get it in there. You don't want to over tighten it, just kind of snug it down in there. Just give it a good little pull. That's plenty for it. You don't want to strip those oil, the threads in the oil pans in the bottom of the motor there. You can see how dirty and nasty this oil is. And you might even see metal filings in there depending on how hard they are on it. Some is normal, excessive is most likely motor damage, but I don't see anything to make note of that's anything, you know, too terrible. So let's go ahead and get the oil ready. I've got this Lucas. I use a 2050 weight, and it's a motorcycle. It's a high performance. So I've got about a quart and something. It looks like it might take 2.5 quarts, but this one has a dipstick. If it doesn't, it might be measured in milliliters or something like that on the metric system. And you just want to go on Google or wherever and cross-calculate it into quart. This is 946 milliliters. So once you just cross-reference how much yours says on the crankcase down there, it usually has a little symbol. This one has a dipstick. If not, try to find out and be precise and just go by the measurements. Over in Japan where these are made, it's the metric system. So here in the US, we kind of use a little bit of both. We use the American and the metric. So let's go ahead and just start adding to this right now. And we'll flatten it out. I'll push it around front. And see if we can get it a little bit more flatter, but at least we can do a lot of the adding back here. Don't overfill it, because I can tell this back here is on an angle. I'm just out back, and I'm just going to go ahead and start off with about a quarter quart. This is good oil. You can use it if you want to just flush it. You could use a 1030, 1040, straight 30, run it around, drain it again, get some cheap oil, and then after you've drained it maybe once or twice, if you're concerned about the color of the oil in there, on your last change, go with something really good. And usually we change this about, sometimes I'll change mine after, 2 or 3 hardcore rides. If not, these things are just, they're expensive to rebuild, they're harder to find. I'm just going to go with 1.25 quarts right now, and I know it's going to take a little more. And I usually get this, I think I got this online, I'm not sure if eBay was cheaper or Walmart was cheaper and was free delivery, and I just got a couple cases of this stuff and keep it around the shop. So now that I've got something in there, let's go ahead and move this thing down somewhere flatter onto another part of this driveway here, and we'll go ahead and finish out the video. All right, so I moved it onto a flatter part here, up on the top of the hill from where I was. And let's go ahead and check it now. Okay, so it needs more. It's not even registering on the stick. So once I fill it up, we'll be able to actually drive it back to where it was. Don't have to worry about blowing up the motor. Kevin should be good to go for a good little while. I'm gonna go ahead and just start off with a half quart. We put what, 1 1/4 in it already. Let's try 1 1/2, or excuse me, 1 3/4 quarts total. You want to make sure you screw this all the way down in, and then screw it back out, real gentle. And you guys probably can't see that, but we weren't on the stick when we were about a half quart. I'd say we're about a half quart shy. One more. So this bike takes about 2 1/2. Or 2 1/4 quarts. And I'm actually, instead of doing a half, I'm going to go ahead and just do a 1/4. That way I don't have to overfill it. I don't have to drain anything out. I'd rather go a little slower with it than overfill it and have to drain this expensive oil out of here. One last check. We're almost there. It needs a spit's worth more. That's it. So not quite 2 1/4. Right around 2 quarts, I would say. 2 quarts on this bike, and I'll make note of it. Put that in the shop. That way, every time it gets changed, you don't have to second guess it. You just go ahead and grab the oil and do the change. This thing's good to go. Good to go. Check it one last time. Yep, full. You don't want to overfill it either. You'll start slinging oil up into the motor where it shouldn't be, and you're going to run into problems. So you didn't think I'd actually sign off without test riding this thing. This is the best part of my job. Test ride everything. Every single thing you can ride, ride it. That's it. I'm done. Runs good, runs strong, runs better, oil's clean. I'll let Kevin know. Come on down and pop some wheelies. So I'm out. 2 guys how to. Save that money, buy more parts for your stuff, do more on your own, save that money, and I'm out. Peace. What's up, Iggy? Talk to him before I shut the video down. Oh yeah. Yep. You're not a pig, you're a lawyer. He's not a pig, he's a lawyer. Peace. Peace.
I'm not a pig, I'm a lawyer.